Alright guys, welcome to Yepping and Fishing. This is the first content video. I just want to share my experience taking out my kayak with the intention of testing its limitations and the tipping point, as Chad Hoover calls it. I did a lot of research before planning this trip out and just making sure I had planned for this as best as I could to be able to make sure that my wallet, keys, phone didn't get lost, first of all, or didn't get any damage. So you'll see that the first most important thing to do when you're ever taking a kayak out or really being on a boat is your PFD. And so that's unquestionable. It's a no ifs, ands, or buts. You got to have your PFD. There's so many different things, different scenarios that you can potentially fall into the water, get injured, get hit by a boat, and that's going to make sure that they can hopefully make it. But if anything, that if you were to pass, they can find your body. And I know that sounds kind of dire, but in any case, it could mean life or death. So PFD, no excuses. You got to have that. Second thing is this little tether that I had for my phone. I actually received this for free. It was when I was going to get my annual pass for parking at any of the Army structures. It's the Army Engineers Lakes around the area. And then I ended up actually upgrading to get America the Beautiful Pass for any of the national parks. And that was for $80. If you wanted to get any of the Army Engineers Lakes, that would have been $40. But I think that'd be a great investment to get out into taking my family out to hopefully Yosemite soon. We've been there before, but we want to start hiking and exploring the area that we live in quite a bit more. But yes, this little thing, it was free, and it kept my phone from I hadn't intended that the phone would have fallen out of my pocket while in the seat, and so it did its job in keeping my phone attached to me, not at the bottom of the lake. And it kept my phone dry. I actually upgraded one I had ordered. I think it's a Pelican version of this, which I can leave in the description, do a product review on it if you guys are interested. But this one was cheapo depot, but it did its job. Let's see what else we got here. So yeah, that makes a world of difference. And then so what I was doing here, it's kind of counterintuitive, and it was very hard for me to fully kind of understand. Oh yes, so I found out that my paddle actually floats, so I may not even have this attached. I might use that tether for something else. But if your paddle isn't floatable, yeah, it's a good idea to tether it down just in case you flip, especially if you're a big guy. Anything over 200 pounds. I'm 6 feet and I'm over 200 pounds. I'm over 270 pounds. And so right now I'm just testing. This is the first time that I stood out of my kayak, or stood up, and you can see at the very beginning of the video that when I stood up, that my chair actually went to the closed position, which I didn't know until after watching the video footage. When I went to sit back down, that's the cause of why I oversat and flipped out of the kayak. I was watching a video with Chad Hoover, and he was reviewing one of the Bonafide kayaks that has a bungee cord that you can bungee down, and it'll leave the seat in an always open position. So that's something that I can add on to my seat for the future. And then right now I'm just trying to see if I could paddle with a standing position, and I did pretty well. I think I did about a good 3 minutes of paddling before I decided to take a seat, and then I also found that having the paddle attached with the tether kind of made my stroke, paddle stroke, kind of a little, I would say, unbalanced, because it would give me a little resistance at the top of the stroke. I definitely think that I'm going to be taking that tether off, especially because I bought the Kayak double header paddle holder. That'll keep the paddle out of the way while I'm paddling. And then when I actually plan to put my fish finder on the left side of me, I'm planning to put most of everything on the left side so that I have the right side to get into the kayak. And then if I ever flip, I have one side open. That's going to be my next test, is to try to do it without the paddle drive first. To do a re-entry without the paddle drive. The paddle drive is kind of blocking some of the space to clear my feet if I were to try to do a re-entry. So I'll try to do a re-entry without the pedal drive, and then I talked about it later on in this video. Oh, here we go. So there it is. Oversat, overreached, and I'm out the kayak. Yak Attack Omega Pro Rod Holder, and I had this little plastic knob can be switched and dialed to open or close. I'm thankful that I left it to close.
What happened, I flipped it. Well, I fell out actually. I was trying to sit back down in the seat and lost my balance, and then I just went overboard. I think that
So, funny little thing, this little blue, supposed to be waterproof case, I had that from years ago when I went backpacking, and I just, for some reason in my head, I remember that it was waterproof. I didn't actually test it before heading out. So another thing is that, like I said, it's not waterproof. I found out it's the pocket is not zipped closed, it's open. So I got very lucky that it didn't fall. And then it's not tethered, it's not attached. But anyway, that's something else that I'll have to fix for the next upcoming trip for future reference.
what do you call it? Oh, the little ice chest help balance out the kayak to where.
Thankful to God that He took care of me, that I
it didn't flip the whole thing. I just flipped
the lake. And
so now
my keys actually started.
I'm swimming back.
I have a Chevy. The fob has it's really nice that it has a plastic little a gasket around. When I change batteries, I remember it. So no water got into my keys. Thank God.
To shore, or I'm going to try to swim to shore right here, and then I can get back on the kayak. If I didn't have the pedal drive in, I could potentially try to get back in, but it's going to be really hard to pass my legs over pedal drive. One other thought would be that I would be able to undo the pedal drive. I'm gonna resecure my croc.
I remember my croc was felt like it was slipping off, and thankfully those crocs are
I'd be able to
little flotation devices.
Undo the pedal drive, and then move it to probably the back, front, and then try a re-entry that way.
Great video. Subscribe to this guy, Headwaters Kayak. Really nice, really good guy.
Like really far.
Awesome videos, awesome channel.
I don't
Check it
swim
out.
super far. Good thing though is that I'm a pretty decent swimmer. Plus, I have the PFD.
Doing a little side stroke action with the kayak.
It's hot already, so I'm gonna stay. This is gonna help me stay fresh.
That little swim did make the rest of the day nice and chill. So another thing too is that my GoPro, I had it on this little Joby tripod, and it was
The other good thing, been swimming at home.
It was fit into one of the pole holders, but I had it tethered in, so when I flipped out of the boat, it stayed. Actually, didn't even flip out, so that was pretty nice. But for future reference, I'm going to be making a little DIY GoPro holder, and I think the video that I saw, it's like under $10 to do. So that is going to be upcoming in another video.
Quite a bit. So this also goes to show where I can increase the tension on my
PFD. It felt like I probably
PFD.
need to have it tighter up here because it's starting
all
to
part of
slip
what
upward.
Chad Hoover said, testing where your tipping point is. And I've been losing weight to try to get more, to get more healthy, but more so when I decided to buy the kayak and I flipped it at home, testing it out day one. I want to have more balance and have more or less top heaviness, which is kind of where I carry my weight, is in the midsection up. So
That's a funny video.
I don't think I'd be standing
Let me know if you guys want to see that.
until I'm really probably around 200 and probably 275.
So one little point emphasis that I want to make, this is it related to why I decided to purchase the Lost Creek 12.4, was that I saw a video of a guy and he weighed about 270 pounds, and he said that it was stable, that he stood up on the kayak, that it didn't fall, didn't tip or anything like that. So that was a big consideration when I went to purchase this Lost Creek. Also the price point, which when I do a full review on the kayak, I'll leave those details in that video. But for the big guys, if you're over 6 feet tall, anything over 250, 270 pounds, this kayak is very, very stable. The first time that I fell, well, I'll leave that in another video, but as you can see, I oversat in this one, was able to stand, was able to paddle. I haven't added my fish finder because I want to know what will make it tip so that I can prevent that, mitigate that from having to potentially lose, my fish finder if it gets into the water. But so far, it has been very fun on
Or
this
less.
kayak.
So you can see that just doing the side stroke, holding onto the kayak, it's taking me a little while. Well, it's probably 100 yards from shore when I flipped it, maybe a little more. And I'm almost at the shore now. So I think when I get to shore,
quite a bit of a swim.
I was already testing on opening the igloo ice chest, getting water. So I think I'll rehydrate. Probably eat that little kind bar and then get back in the kayak. Whew. And think about what I'm going to do when I game plan. I want to go home, or I want to practice a little more here. I think part of the deterrence, a barrier to really practicing, is just kind of like the potential embarrassment of flipping a kayak in front of people that are here at the lake. And I kind of did it out of sight, so that's a good thing. I don't feel too stupid. I don't feel stupid at all, but
That's something that I wanted to highlight. I had gone out on this trip with the intention of actually finding where this tipping point was, and to actually be in the water to test out all this safety gear. Um, but there was still a barrier that I didn't want to flip because I was kind of concerned with what people would think about me in a way. But then it's like, well, you're never going to know what your tipping point is. And as Chad Hoover says, it's not if you're gonna flip, it's when. And I think being able to practice different scenarios of how to manage this, right? Like the weather was sunny. There's, I'm on the shore where it's not very steep. I kind of, when I decided to do the stand up paddling, I kind of aimed for, I did it a little too far, but I did it in an area where in my mind, if I fell out or tipped the kayak, there was a re-entry to shore that would be pretty doable. But I think that I'm so glad that I saw these videos, Paddle TV, Headwaters TV, Chad Hoover, and others, that I had a game planned, and that game plan was to end up in the water, and I did. And now I have quite a bit more confidence in taking my kayak out and doing some more planning before I add more gear onto my kayak.
I guess it's just relieve that barrier, that really vulnerable feeling. Good thing too, did this in summer. Hopefully, here we go. I'm at shore now, so it took me about a little over 6 minutes to get to shore.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you join in becoming more proficient at kayaking, kayak fishing, outdoors, and that you would join in on this journey, which I'm going to be kind of explaining in further videos. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Made it through. Let's see how we do.
Take care.